Hi, Jay Aaron Sebia with FightHype.com, here with world champion Heather Hardy. Heather, how's it going?
Doing well, yourself?
I'm doing all right, I'm doing fine. Nobody ever asked me that, by the way. All right, so what was your relationship like with Amanda Serrano prior to this fight?
We were sparring partners years ago, like when I first turned pro. So go back like 6-7 years ago.
Right.
We used to do some rounds together. I think because I was a good punching bag, because I was so tough, and Jordan would be like, "Damn, is she gonna come back?" But that was a long time ago.
Well, she told me you were one of the only sparring partners that would actually come
back.
Most
I know.
wouldn't,
That's
right?
why I think Jordan liked me so much. Like, what's the matter with this girl?
How do you see this fight playing out?
It's hard to figure it out, because it's one of those fights where one mistake can cost you the whole fight. Right? It's just a no mistakes kind of fight, and that's how I'm training.
So I saw in like quite a few interviews, I think maybe prior to your last boxing fight, it seemed like maybe you were like out the door with boxing. You were almost done with it. How do you get up after that? You know, after almost being out and now you're back in, how do you reignite that fight?
I think it's my Brooklyn roots. When somebody calls you out, it's like, ugh, fine. It wasn't even an option for me not to come back. You know, I got a call from the WBO that said that if I want to keep my title, I have to fight Amanda. And to me, it's like, I didn't even want to keep the title, but now I got to fight Amanda because she want to fight me, so this is what we do.
Now, how do you feel about, because when I heard this fight announced, I saw it was Devin Haney.
Yeah.
I just assumed that you guys would be co-main. I assumed that, you know.
Well, we were the co-main event, and somebody told me this morning that they changed it, and I'm like, well, I'm going to do these interviews, and then I'm going to find out about that, because that would be some real bullshit, right? Excuse my mouth.
I think it is. I mean, I think that you guys, for the most part, you know, are selling this fight.
Well, my thing, like when I fought Shelly Vincent on HBO back in October, they were using me in a ton of press and stuff to sell tickets, right? And they weren't putting me on HBO. And I had called Peter Nelson and had repeatedly said to my promoters, like, if you're using me as a ticket sell, that means people want to see me fight. How are you going to take this away from me? Don't put me on the billboards then, if you're not going to showcase me. And that kind of feels like what's happening now, right? They're using us to sell the tickets and push the fight because we're the only two known names on the card, and then you're going to push us not a main event, not a co-main event, just on the undercard. I think that's really unfair. It's a bunch of steps back.
I believe the same thing. Both you and Serrano made the transition from boxing into MMA. What, in your mind, like from a technical aspect, what do you think the hardest thing would be for a boxer to be able to grasp, to be able to get into MMA? What's the hardest?
Hard to get kicked in the face.
It's the head
I
kick,
can tell you
kicks.
from experience. It's hard to get kicked, to get, like, you know, even me, I'm 37 years old, right? And like, I'm doing jiu-jitsu and wrestling for the first time when I'm past 35. My body is like, yo, what are we doing? The joints, you know, everything was so sore. Like, it's hard to teach an old dog new tricks, you know? It's hard to learn all those things and try to play catch up.
So Clarissa Shields has been teasing that idea, and even potentially teasing the idea of fighting Amanda Nunes. What are your thoughts on that?
I think that would be incredible for women's boxing. I mean, part of the reason why I went to MMA, and I'm pretty sure Amanda did as well, not just for the money, but for the exposure. Take some of those fans and bring them over to boxing. So if Clarissa and Amanda can do this big boxing match, it's going to have all of Amanda's fans, her millions of fans, their eyes on women's boxing and the talent pool that's there. Right. So I think that's tremendous for us.
So now, in terms of like, because I know the winner of this fight is contracted to fight Katie Taylor. Did you catch the last fight between Katie Taylor and Delphine Pursoon?
Yeah.
What did you think of that decision?
I thought Delphine edged the fight, man. Her experience came through, and like, I would have been okay with a draw, you know, let Delphine go back with her title and do the rematch, but to take her title and make her leave empty-handed, I didn't feel like she got beat like that. And that's no disrespect to Katie. Katie's one of the greatest who ever done it, to lace up a pair of gloves, you know. But if you call a spade, that's how I saw the play.
So I asked Amanda this question. I'm going to ask you the same question. They just signed Joshua Ruiz too. Well, first I'll ask you this: do you consider yourself feminist?
Yes.
Okay. So, like in the traditional sense, like equal pay between men and women.
I think that women should be treated like men. I don't think, and I mean no disrespect, I don't think there's a traditional sense.
Right.
I think women should be treated like men. We work our asses off the exact same way.
So, with that said, this fight's in Saudi Arabia. There's been quite a few athletes and even entertainers that have decided not to bring any business to that part of the world for human rights issues. I don't know that they even would allow women to fight there, but if that were to be the case, somehow you guys got put on a card. You win, right? You get put on the card with Katie Taylor. Would you, based on the treatment of women and other marginalized groups, would you be willing to go out there to fight?
What do you mean? Like, do you think are you saying that I should make a political statement and not go to that part of the world?
Correct. Like based on their treatment towards women historically and other marginalized groups.
I fight in America, and people here treat women and marginalized groups like shit.
People, but I mean, I don't know that.
I'm pretty sure the government does too.
Right.
So I mean, that's a really loaded question. That would take some time. I mean, there are a lot of things about this country that I don't agree with. A lot of things our government is doing to people in this country that I think is disgusting. But I'm still here. Oh, don't make me talk about politics. That is one line I'm gonna draw right now and say it was a great interview.
I had to get it in there.
It was a great interview, but yes, I am a feminist.
Right. So what can we expect from you come September 13th?
I think I'm gonna surprise a lot of people because I'm good. Too many people think, oh, she's just cute. Oh, she's just tough. I'm good.
I believe you are. I saw your last fight with Shelly Vincent. It was a great performance.
Thank you.
Where do we follow you? What do you have coming on in the future?
Yeah, you can follow me at Heather Hardy Box on Twitter or at Heather the Heat on Instagram.
Heather, thank you so much.